Hello, welcome to Program with Sam, and this is Java Lesson 7. So up until this point, all of our applications that we've been working on have been entirely console-based. That is to say, all of the output is coming through the console, all of the input is going in through the console, or through file reading and writing. So realistically, when you're building applications for users, you would want them to be able to interact with, say, a window. For instance, IntelliJ is a window. I can click buttons and I can interact with it. And this is a user interface. It's something that allows the user to interact with it in a simplistic fashion. For example, if I click the file button, it brings up a menu, and then I can click buttons, and I know what they do based on the context of the application. Now, for this, we're going to be using JavaFX. There are many different libraries available in Java for interface design, including Java Swing. But we're going to be using JavaFX because it's what I was taught when I was doing my Java module. But unfortunately, JavaFX isn't actually included in the Oracle JDK anymore. I think that stopped after like 1.8. Fortunately for us, however, there is an open source variant which is essentially just carrying on the development of JavaFX, and it's constantly getting updates and constantly being improved because it's open source. So in order to see that, we're going to have to hop on over to Gluon HQ. So I'll cut to that now. Okay, so here we are at the Gluon page. This is the Home Products JavaFX. And it has for us a bunch of different versions. Obviously, you want to pick the one that's appropriate for your version. So if you're on Windows, pick the SDK for Windows, Mac, and so on and so forth. And if you just download that, it should give us a zip file. So when we've downloaded it, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go into our downloads. Let me see if I can just pull up my downloads. Here we go. So you're going to want to unzip it. So I think I've already unzipped it somewhere. Just down here. Yes, I've unzipped it down here. Right. So when you've unzipped it, you can see that inside you have all of these different files. It's fine to just leave it where it is, to be honest. Just leave it there, unzipped, and it should be okay. We should then be able to actually use it. When it comes to actually then importing the files into IntelliJ, into a project that we're working on, for instance, in Lesson 7, we'll want to go to Project Structure. So that's under File, Project Structure, and then Libraries, and we'll plus a new Java library. And then if you go to your downloads or wherever you've put it, find the folder for your OpenJFX and select the lib one in the JavaFX SDK 11.0.2. If you just select that and just select the entire folder, those modules will be added. And we can rename this to JavaFX just so that we know what it is if we ever come to do it later or come to add more modules and libraries later. Then it's still not going to work, believe it or not. So what we need to do is we need to go to the application, and we need to, when we're creating our run configuration, obviously we don't have a main class yet, but we're going to need to include something in the VM arguments. And that's going to be -- module path, then your path to the FX lib folder, and then -- add modules equals JavaFX controls, comma, JavaFX.fxml. So if I just copy and paste mine in now, I've included them in the actual tutorial on the blog. So go check that out if you're confused. But yeah, so it's just -- module path, and then the file path to the lib, as you can see there, and then -- add module equals Java controls, comma, JavaFX.fxml. Like, if you click that, when we get the main class, everything should be able to run okay. Now, in order to make it easier for us to actually build and design interfaces, the folks at Gluon have created something called the Scene Builder. Now, this was a thing that was sort of built into IntelliJ back when JavaFX was included in the Oracle Java JDK. But now, obviously, since this is the open JavaFX, we need to use a different tool. And they've supplied the Scene Builder. So if we click Scene Builder, this is what the application looks like, and it's very much sort of drag and drop what you want into the interface builder, and then you can design your interfaces however you want. So if you click download, you can find the one appropriate for your your install. So we'd want the 11.1 since we're using Java 13. 11.1 is the best we're going to get. So if we download and install that, we'll then be able to, any second now, there we go, we'll be able to download and install it. And if I just type in scene builder, as you can see, we get like the application window. Oh, just create an empty one. Don't register me. But yeah, you see we just get this application window. You can just slap in panes, and you could do a button bar, that kind of thing. And it just makes interface design very easy. So now that we're all set up, we're actually ready to make sort of like a bare bones application. So what we're going to make today is a notepad style application. We're going to make a window that is displayed with a text area that we can then modify. And then we could take this application further as the weeks progress. So let's do Java class, and we're going to create our main class. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that it is able to actually extend the application. So what we do is extends application, and we want to make sure that we're importing the right one. We want to make sure we're including JavaFX application, which for me was the top one. Now obviously it's throwing up a fuss because we need to implement the methods. We need to implement start, and that's essentially what this uses as its main function. So you see now it's there, but we haven't got our main function. That's because when you're making an application, it uses start as opposed to main. And that's absolutely fine. Equally, if you had a function that was main, you can call application.start, I believe. So what I did instead was just create a new variable called made stage, create a new stage, and then add that scene to it. And if we run it now, we actually get the window. Now there's several things we can do with a stage, sort of main stage, so set title, set title. If we do that, we can say, we can call it notepad because that's what we want to make. We want to make a notepad. And there you go. It's set the title of the window to notepad. We could also do main stage dot set resizable to false. And what that means is now we won't be able to increase the size of the window. You see there's no, and we can't maximize it either. And that's kind of what we want. We want it to be able to just display a little notepad that we're going to use. So the last thing we need to do now is essentially add something to a pane. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this and we're going to call it pane. And then we're going to say pane is equal to new pane. Then we want to do text area is equal to new text area is equal to new text area. Area dots. Area. Or can we do it here in the constructor? No, that's a string. Okay. Area dot set pref height is going to be 400. Area. Or can we do size? Set pref size, perfect. That'll do them both in one go. Then we want to do pane dot get children dot add all area. So now if we do it, we should then have a text area that we can actually write in. And that's pretty simple stuff really. We've then created a notepad that we can make little notes on as and whenever we want. That's it for this time. Next time we'll be working with FXML, so using the scene builder, and then we'll be creating a corresponding controller class for the FXML we create. We'll be looking at sort of making buttons for our interfaces and adding a menu to our interface, and then sort of like using the controller to assign functionality to those buttons and menus. If you'd like to follow me at ProgramSamBlog or follow the blog directly at programwithsam.co.blog, that would be much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.